In my pipe dreams, I would be able to take this talent workshop and become a writer at DC. But since I have my own channel, I have the ability to do something else. Pitch my own idea for an updated DC universe. Let's take a look. And welcome back to the heart of the stories we tell. I'm Rob the host, and this is another look deep into what makes a story, a theory on storytelling by a storyteller who believes that every story has merit. And tonight's episode is my DC Heroes Abstract. Now, I've said it before and I've said it again, and I'll say it again. The idea of killing Mr. Griffin gave me this great idea. One of the things that made the teacher so horrible was the fact that he made them rewrite Shakespeare. Why? Because in hindsight, everything is 2020. And I just want to reiterate the fact that I don't own any of these characters, but I'm going to be using them. And my idea really springs from the idea of Marvel Comics did an Ultimate Universe where they reimagined, and you can also say the MCU for a certain extent, where they just took the idea of their heroes and took them in different directions. There was also a cartoon out not too long ago with Alternate Justice League that kind of made me think about this. So what did I go with? I went with DC Abstract. Why Abstract? Because what Abstract is it's the base concept taken to a different extreme. It's something just slightly twisted and variant. And where would I get my ideas if I were going to be able to write this new universe? Well, I'd take some new ideas and some old ideas and mix them around with some of the TV shows I like and some of the ones I don't even like, and just come up with a modern reimagining, an abstract view of what the DC universe would look like. And if you're interested in taking a look with me, then tune on in as we take a look. And the funniest part is Arrow, which is the one that's the least comic booky, is the one I'm taking one of my main feels out of. Although the entire DC Berlantiverse crossover also helps with this. So, where am I going to start? Well, I'm going to start with the Trinity. Yeah, this is why I don't draw. I'm going to start with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Except in my version, I would probably say there's a few more important characters. I'd include Green Lantern and Flash in that, so my Trinity is actually a pentagon. Okay, well, enough with that. We're going to start off with the Bat Family. The TV show Gotham takes a lot of bit out of this comic, but I want to talk about the most famous murder that we've seen over and over and over again. Again, we've probably seen the Weinstein more often than Kenny. And here's where I'm going to start it off as being very different. That night in the alley, a superhero came out and saved the Waynes. Martha was still shot. Thomas, being a surgeon, was able to save her. And as such, in my version, the Batman isn't Bruce Wayne. In fact, Bruce Wayne had a very idyllic childhood. Now this does lead to the question, without the tragedy, would Bruce Wayne still have been a good person? Well, I say yes. Yes, he would. And as such, I'm going to put him in a very important place. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. My abstract Batman comic starts with Batman fighting a bunch of ninjas, specifically League of Assassin ninjas, and we're going to go into that for a lot. This Batman, though, doesn't hold back when it comes to killing. Now, he doesn't choose to kill outright, but if he has to, he will. And League of Assassin people are ones that don't give him a lot of choice. He's battering them and fighting them and going sword for sword, and at the end of all of this, he kicks their ass pretty good, ties some of them up, but they just end up suiciding anyway, the way League of Assassins do. Now I'm going to go into what the bat suit looks like. I'm basing it at least somewhat on the Batman Beyond universe. Why the Batman Beyond universe? Because I really like that costume. I'm going to replace the red symbol with the green symbol and make his eyes go green too. And I'm going to take those wings off. Now, I like the wings, I'm not going to say I don't, but I like the full face mask, I like the way the suit fits, but what I want is the cloak from Batman Begins, the one that he can glide with, the one that has the electromagnetic, hold the shape stuff. And then I'm going to put parts of the Asbat armor. Yeah, I know you're going to say that that's not the best one, but I'm going to put the belt and the leg things, but then I'm going to put the arm bracers, not like his claws, but like the ones that we saw Bruce Wayne wielding in Batman Begins, the ones that could catch the sword, all muddled together with the black skin-tight suit. Yes, it makes the suit a little more tech-based. It makes him a little more tech-based of a hero than he is in normal things, but I like the idea of there being a bit of armor. See, there it is with the green symbol and eyes and the little thing around the leg and the bat belt. Okay, fine, I can't draw. So anyway, my story jumps to Bruce Wayne in bed with Vicky Vale when Alfred wakes him up and tells him that Commissioner Gordon would like to meet with him. He might finally be available and willing to work with him. Bruce is ecstatic to hear this, lets Vicky sleep, or at least lets him think she's sleeping, and then says, "Did you alert the team yet?" And he goes, "No, I thought you'd want to let her know." And that's where the story goes, huh, what? So then we cut to night and the meeting with Gotham Central. And we see Batman, and he's using his grappling hook and shooting it off and then gliding. No Batmobile here. A lot like the Arkham Asylum and the Arkham Origins games. He's gliding around on the cape like a video game character. And I think that's a cool visual for him. And I think that could be translated well to the comics. He lands on a stairwell and looks down, and standing there is the Gordon he's there to meet. Barbara Gordon. Detective Barbara Gordon. She's smoking a cigarette and says, "Hey, look, I need your help. I've been helping you all this time with these cults, and now I'm calling in a favor. There's this serial killer, and I need you to go after him." And he's like, yeah, sorry, I don't do that sort of thing. I'm not some sort of generic go-to for the cops. I'm here to stop the war between the League of Assassins and the Court of Owls and all these other groups, and I'm worried about Inner Gang and all of these people that have these big influences. And this is where we get our exposition of the whole war between the subtle, shadowy organizations, the All Cast, the Court of Owls, Inner Gang. And as he's talking about this, she says, "Well, maybe you might want to listen to this, because my father's upstairs, and he's talking to someone who might be a member of one of those organizations. And if that's the case, wouldn't you want to know? Why, who's he talking to? He's talking to Bruce Wayne." Don't tune out yet. I understand what you're thinking. But yeah, my Batman is John Paul Valley, specifically the one that took over as Azrael. But in this reality, he is Batman. And that's fine, because it's not a modern retelling, it's a complete reimagining. My Barbara Gordon and him are fighting the good fight against these conspiracies of darkness that, I mean, we can go into more detail later, but it'll tie all of the street-level heroes together. Arrow was found on that island by members of the All Cast, all sorts of things. And now, remember, Bruce Wayne didn't grow up with dead parents. So, he's there, but he's not the same. And so I have this whole idea that he's put together this crime task force. He works for the FBI, for Homeland Security, something like that. I mean, we have plenty of stories we can tell about that. We have plenty of stories we can tell about anything. The question becomes, would Bruce Wayne still be a hero if he wasn't Batman? Could he be a light hero? And could a different person under the cowl matter? Well, we've seen it has. And what about Gotham Central? I want you to think about the fact that all of the heroes that take place in Gotham Central, in fact in any of the police stations, are really good heroes. Ones that we could tell really interesting stories about, and we do all the time. So, in my cityscape of Gotham, we have a whole bunch of heroes running around. Some of them in masks, but a lot of them not. Which brings us back to Barbara Gordon, Detective, and the fact that she's working with Batman, the way her father does in modern stories. So my Batman character goes upstairs to look into what's going on, and Bruce Wayne and his father are meeting there. His father, the doctor who coordinates with Homeland Security. And they are talking to Gordon. And what are they talking about? They're talking about a special task force coming in, and the fact that Argus, or whatever they want to go with, wants to help Gordon. Now, Gordon's got a whole family of crime fighters in his family. Specifically, he's got his son and his daughter both on the police force. Now, if you can't write an awesome story about a family of cops, you've never seen any TV show before. This wouldn't necessarily need to even be a long-running story. Even just a 12-issue maxi series would be amazing, although I personally would plot it out as a couple of years. My mid-run here, my idea, is that you can make an abstract of the DCU that this whole shadow war between different conspiratorial people are. And you know what? I just realized, even doing this isn't just DC. This is just the characters that are street level. I mean, we can bring the Arrow characters in, and when we do, Arrow could easily just be members of the Allspark. Remember them? They're the ones from Red Hood and the Outlaws. So we could have Roy Harper and Essence and all of that, and have him fighting his own battle in Star City, also against the same type of conspiracies, but, looking like Green Arrow from the comic, because I really like that Green Arrow look. And you could do the Malcolm Merlin thing, you could do Nanda Parbat. In fact, you want to know what I'd do? I'd still make Black Canary more like Sarah Lance, having run off, not having a direct tie to Ollie, but being a member of the League of Assassins and dating Nissa Al Ghul and all of that, and bring that character completely from Legends of Tomorrow over to be the most kick-ass Black Canary we've ever seen. Give her the Sonic Cry, though. I really love that Sonic Cry. And we can try to figure out whether or not we can fit Huntress in. I like the Bertinelli connection being more with the Arrow than with Batman. Because remember, my Batman's a former member of the conspiracies as is. And so would my Arrow and so would my Canary. And as such, these organizations that are all at war with each other, well, this is Court of Owl territory. This is Allspark territory. This is League of Shadow area. This is Intergang territory. And as such, when the street-level heroes do finally hook up and work together, some of them even sit there and go, no, I don't want to work with you. You're in with them. Well, no, you're in with them. Well, of course they don't trust each other. In cities like Gotham and Metropolis and Star City, how could you trust anyone? I want you to think about what those worlds look like. But back into the Batman world. Next up, I'm going to use my favorite Batgirl. Now, since Barbara Gordon's busy as being a detective, my Batgirl is Stephanie. And now I'm going to slightly mishmash her origin up. And as much as I like her being Cluemaster's daughter, I think giving her Riddler as a dad is a little bit better of a thing. And you know what? She's still working with an Oracle. Just not the one you're thinking of. I would make Tim Drake Oracle. I would play a lot of how they're doing with Red Robin, make him her boyfriend, have him be tech support and helping her out, and have them work together and eventually try to help out Batman, and Batman having no part of it. Why? Because they're just a bunch of kids and they're going to get themselves killed. But they're not out to fight some sort of shadow conspiracy. They're out to help. So they're more likely to hook up with Barbara Gordon and become a whole team there. So how does my Batman origin work? Well, let's go back to John Paul Valley. John Paul Valley was raised as a member of the Order Saint Dumas, and he was trained to be Azrael. He has the system, and the system's a killer instinct that was going to make him try to kill people. However, somewhere in there, deep-seated, was a good person. And my idea is that the bat is a symbol of against the Order of Saint Dumas. So when he goes rogue, he takes on the symbol of the bat. I have a few other crazy ideas running around in my head, like maybe one of his parents was trained by Shiva in the League of Assassins, and that's why he has a connection to two of them. But the main thing is that he decided that he needs to save people from these conspiracies. And as such, he's donned the bat costume and gone out and is fighting all sides, even his former buddies in the Order of Saint Dumas. And how's he doing it? One city at a time. He just so happens to be starting with Gotham. The problem is that he's not really winning this war on them. He doesn't see himself as a superhero, and that's his arc. He needs to learn how to be a hero. And this does a couple of things for my DC Abstract universe. First and foremost, it lets me play with the idea of Bruce Wayne and Batman both being fallible. Why? Because both of them are really only half a character in this. We have the character of Bruce Wayne, who started up his own special agency, kind of like a mix of Criminal Minds and Diagnosis Murder. We have Batman, who's trying to stop these super powerful world-gathering conspiracies, and at the same time, is going to have to pick up being a street fighter and pick up being a superhero. It allows for a level of growth we don't normally have. You want to know what really gives me this idea? Is that we've seen it work before. The idea of someone else under the mask and someone else that can make mistakes and need to learn by it. We know this has worked before, though. I want you to think back to where this all started, when I said Batman Beyond. Terry McGinnis, it totally worked with. People loved that show. And again, there's this Justice League series out, that's not exactly my Justice League abstract, but where Batman's a vampire and Superman's Mexican, and people love that too. The idea of these heroes, the concepts behind them, are so universal that there's 100 different ways you could take them. And you know what? I think that's where my abstract would work. I think this could be a maxi series of a comic book. This could be a cartoon series direct to DVD. Either way, I think it would make it an interesting concept. And I'm curious what you guys think. Now, normally this is where I play the music and start to ask for all the things that everyone asks you to do when you watch these videos. But this week we're going to talk about my Patreon for a second. Because if you want to hear more of my outtakes and concepts for this, you can go to my Patreon, and I'm going to be talking about my next video on this subject. Specifically, Superman and him, his alien set of characters. If you want to have a part in talking to me about these concepts and maybe even get your ideas thrown into the video, go join my Patreon. It's linked below. But for now, I need you to like, share, and subscribe to this video so that we can build this community, and you can help me walk through the heart of the stories we tell. Thanks for watching.